Wendy says.
Oh,
David, can we did you?
Just a little too much.
Well.
Penny. This is Sue Carmen. Thank you, Sue Carmen. That was a fantastic story. Fantastic. Thank you. Our second spinner of stories is Sal Tagliarini.
Yay!
Sal has been many things in his life. We know that at one point he was a Catholic priest. He also was a business consultant and worked with some of the largest companies in the world. He still does business coaching and public speaking. He has 2 children and 1 grandkid. He's lived in the tower for 10 years, and he loves living in the tower, but I asked him, if you weren't living in the tower, where would you be living? And he said, I'd be living in Rome. So, let us welcome Sal.
Thank you. November 29th, my birthday.
Happy birthday.
My best friend Jack Murphy knew that I loved the opera. And so he took me to Osti's, which was a restaurant nightclub in New York, where the waiters and the waitresses sang opera. When we got there, though, the line was interminable. It was a freezing cold night, snow flurries, windy, and Mr. Impatient, Jack Murphy, decided he didn't want to wait. So he skirts the line and somehow goes into the building. 5 minutes later, I see him frantically waving for me to come and join him. And when I get into the building, he said to me, "Take off your overcoat and put it on your shoulder as if you were an Italian." I said, "What have you done, lunatic?" He said, "Not much. I just told Mr. Osti it was really a shame that the famous Italian heart surgeon, Dr. Tagliarini, had to wait online." Now, with this thunderbolt, I now notice there's a man racing to greet me. "Benvenuto, Dottore Tagliarini." Now, I speak Italian very well, but he's going to know that I am not native born. So as he embraces me, I say, "When I am in America, I only speak English." Now that grants me about 30 seconds because he grabs my hand, takes me to the center of the building, and there's a table for Jack and I. And when everybody is in the building, he announces we are most fortunate this evening. We have the famous Italian heart surgeon. Now I have to stand up like a complete fool and take a bow while Jack is belly laughing. The last piece, the tenor and the soprano dedicate the first 2 arias to me. I lean over to Jack and I said, "What happens if someone has a heart attack?" He never missed a beat. Jump on his chest and start banging away. 11 months later, I receive a phone call while I'm in Rome. My best friend Jack Murphy was killed. He was killed in an automobile accident. Now, death was no stranger to me, having been a priest and a chaplain, but I was devastated, absolutely blown away by Jack's death. He was 29 years old. I flew back to the States, gave the eulogy, but when I got back to Rome, I was destroyed. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. And I had read a book about 8 months before that by a Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl. I decided maybe this guy can help me. So I called the University of Vienna expecting to get the ninth secretary. And I said, "I need to speak to Dr. Viktor Frankl." He said, "This is Viktor Frankl." I said, oh, what the hell do I do now? I said, I'd like to study with you. He said, come and stay with me. Absolutely mind-boggling that this famous man just reaches out. So I went to Vienna, and Victor knew how fragile I was. He was incredibly kind. But leaving Rome for overcast, snowy Vienna was not a great move for me. It just reflected how I felt. And one night, I went to his office and for 1 hour, forgetting what this man has been through, I poured out my heart, my anger, my feelings, and my sorrow. He never said a word till I finished. He took off his glasses and a tear ran down his cheek. And he said, you feel great pain because you loved your friend. But there will come a moment when you will have to make a choice. Get in the grave emotionally with Jack, or take your pain and your sorrow and give it meaning by being of service to others who are in pain. Those words changed my life. He didn't give me a panacea, but he gave me a way to deal with my grief. Those two men, Jack and Victor, were singular gifts in my life. And I often remember Jack's laugh and Victor's tear. And what it taught me especially was, life is filled with joy and with sorrow. It's what you do with it. And I really believe that I was so gifted in knowing them that it has given joy to my life and ways through sorrow. Thank you.
I forgot to mention that Sal is the author of 9 books of fiction and nonfiction. And if you ask him really nicely, he might tell you a little bit more about that. Our third righteous raconteur is Chris Hobbs.
Yay!
Chris has lived in here as a part of this community in this tower for 10 years. He has been a psychologist for most of his career. He still practices occasionally. And he's also deeply interested in writing and photography. He is a world traveler. He's been all around the world. And so I asked him, what was your favorite place? And he said, Burma. He was there about 15 years ago. And he said, even though it was, by our Western standards, a not very advanced country, very, very third world, thank you. Third world country. He said the people there had a level of joy and happiness that he has not seen anywhere else. So I think he's going to bring us some joy and happiness tonight. We welcome you, Chris.
Thank you. So I don't have a forgiving back, so I'm
Do you
gonna,
need this ring?
I'm gonna sit up here though, so I can see everybody,
Okay,
but,
good.
if you hold this.
Yep. You did
Here
it
we
before.
go. I did it.
know
I
you
did it.
did
I
it
did
before.
it. There we go. I, oh, microphone. Oh, yeah, Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not a good mothy, because a good mothy just speaks without having to read. So I'm not a good mothy. I'm going to read what I wrote.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my stage fright would get me. So.
Got your back.
Thanks. So here's a short story about a life-changing event that I'll call legacy. Life can't prepare us for everything, that's for sure. going to the dentist, getting a driver's license, getting a job, events like that we come to expect and plan for. One hopes with more pleasure than dread. Sometimes, though, things just happen that even a psychic savant couldn't predict. Things far off the normal grid. Anyone who knows me here knows that I'm gay. What you may not know is that it took me a long time to come to terms with this. Even Stonewall couldn't get me out of the closet, though it sure did whet my appetite for meeting men. The late 60s and early 70s, before AIDS, was in many ways an ideal time to explore being gay. Sexual freedom was in the air. It was easy to meet people. The downside was that homophobia was like a fog that hung over a beautiful landscape. I was in my mid-30s before I fully accepted being gay. I was in relationships with women up until that time, 2 of them serious, and secretly in relationships, or in play anyway, with men. Internally, I knew I was gay from a young age. I just couldn't make my peace with it. The fear of rejection, the shame, was deep enough that no amount of self-talk or therapy could shake it loose. Time, maturity, and maybe just being worn out by conflict finally took me over the line. Except in one way. I wanted to be a dad. The playfulness, curiosity, innocence, growing into maturity of children always drew me. I'm comfortable with kids, able to engage, join in the fun, connect. I came to accept that I wouldn't have kids of my own. My early clinical training with kids and families settled some of this, though I still felt sad for the loss of what wouldn't be. My dear friend John was getting married for the second time. He had a rehearsal dinner the night before his wedding, and I sat at a long table with people I didn't know. Opposite me were 2 women, a lesbian couple, Julie and Maria. We talked. I liked them. They seemed to like me. What I didn't see was that they were checking me out the whole time. The night ended. The next day, they called and asked if I would meet them. They wanted to talk about the possibility of having a child with me. My reaction was simple. Holy shit. I had no idea, none, that this was on their minds. It certainly wasn't on mine. After an uncomfortable silence, I managed to say yes, I would meet them to talk. We met. I told them I was blown away by their invitation. I asked what they were looking for and why me. They said they were looking for a man who would be a biological father and a good dad beyond his sperm. A dad who would help to raise a child. They said that John thought the world of me and thought I'd be a good dad. In terms of the structure of this arrangement, they said that they wanted to be the primary parent.